It's your boy, Mr. Kev, bringing you NFL picks for Week 13, the week starting November 29th and continuing through December 3rd. Now, all the odds that you will be seeing here on the screen in the graphics are provided by Fox MSN and are strictly for entertainment and comparison purposes only. I tell people that because if you bet the lines and lose, I don't pay bookies, and if Vinny No Nate decides to pay a after Thanksgiving call to you because you bet the Lions lose, it's on you. It's not on me. Going to the Sunday games, we're going to start with a pretty much a dog of a game. The Panthers and the Chiefs are playing in Kansas City in what some people may say is a who cares game. I personally don't think that either team should be allowed to even play in December. They should just mail in the rest of their games. Though Cam Newton is an exciting player, and he did play spectacularly against Philadelphia on Monday night, this is not a very good team. They're very flawed. They have deficiencies on both sides of the ball. But playing the Chiefs, they're going to look like world beaters. The Chiefs are a basic mess. They have quarterback problems. Jamal Charles is the only offensive threat they have. Defense can be run on and thrown on. And though they've been playing pretty decently as of late, 2 of their last 3 games have been pretty tight. Taking the Steelers and Broncos to task, they got wailed on by the Bengals. This isn't a good team, and Carolina's going to prove this in spades. My pick on this is going to be Carolina. Our next game is Houston against Tennessee. Texans and Titans are playing at Nashville at LP Field. The Texans are the best team in the AFC, period. They have a tendency sometimes to let their minds wander here and there. I mean, they shouldn't have been anywhere close in a shootout with Jacksonville, and then on Thanksgiving, they were in a shootout with Detroit. They should have blown both of these teams out. But they won both of the games, and that's all that really counts. All you see is 10-1 on their record. You don't see 8 wins and a couple of close wins and a loss. It's 10-1. They're a good team. Titans, on the other hand, I'm really, really disappointed in this team. I thought that they would play a lot better than they have. They're incredibly inconsistent. They get blown out by the Bears one week at home, and they go to Miami and lay a smack down on the Dolphins, and then turn right around and lose another game that they should have won. It doesn't make any sense. And this is an inconsistent team. Inconsistent team versus consistent team. I'm going to go with consistent team every time. My pick here is Houston. In Detroit, we have a pretty good game here. The Colts and the Lions. The Lions lost on Thanksgiving to the aforementioned Houston Texans. And at 4-7, their season is more or less going down the drain. But they are competitive. They have been playing really good teams. The Colts are the surprise team of the year. Many people said this team would be lucky to win 3 or 4 games. They've won 7. Top wild card standings right now. They probably won't have enough to catch the rampaging Texans, but they are quietly a playoff team. And this is a good team. Andrew Luck, many people will say if it wasn't for RG3, Andrew Luck will win Rookie of the Year hands down. He's a good quarterback. People are going Peyton who in Indianapolis. This is a good team. I think that Indianapolis, the Colts, do win this game rather handily. I don't know what it is about maybe it's just because it was week 13. There are a ton of dog games on the schedule. This one is a prime example. Jacksonville at Buffalo. No disrespect to the great city of Buffalo, city I've been to quite a few times. Love Duff's Wings, but I digress. Jacksonville playing about as good as it's been playing the last couple of weeks. They went into an overtime shootout with Houston, lost, but they may have found the quarterback in Chad Henne. And the Jags won last week, a surprising win, and are playing a lot better. Their offense has some direction, even without Maurice Jones-Drew. If you would have said, take away Maurice Jones-Drew, what does Jags have? You're going to say nothing. Chad Henne's been playing very well. But on the road, I just can't see it happening. Not in Buffalo, not in the cold. The Bills aren't that great of a team, but they play very well at home. they're playing at Ralph Wilson. It's going to be pretty cold. Take the Bills. The Bills are going to be the winner here. The Vikings and the Packers. Those that know me know I'm a big Vikings fan and was roundly embarrassed by their play in Chicago. Problem is playing a Packers team that is playing pretty well, save for last week against the Giants, where it just seemed like Aaron Rodgers was running for his life. But I think this one is going to be a tighter game than most people expect. Aaron Rodgers will get his, but the Packers defense will have something to say about Adrian Peterson getting his. In Lambeau, as much as I would love to pick the Vikings, I can't do it. Not in Lambeau, not in Green Bay. I'd be more than happy to be wrong on this, but for some reason, I just can't see it happening, and I'm going to take Green Bay. Next game is New England going to Miami, take on the Dolphins. This is another wildly inconsistent team, the Dolphins. The Dolphins play good one week, they fall asleep at the switch the next. Play good another week, they get blown out the next. And when you're facing a consistent team like the Patriots, decimated by injury is true, but you have Tom Brady, you have a good core receivers, and now they've got a running game. Stephon Ridley has been showing himself to be a good runner, and you give the Patriots offense, as diverse as it is, a running game, that's like giving a pyromaniac a blowtorch. Even though the game is on the road, I'm still taking the Patriots. I like New England to win this game, and pretty handily. Next game is the 49ers at the Rams, and you remember a couple of weeks ago, the Rams and Niners played NFL's first tie since 2008. Do I think this is going to happen again? I hope not. I think the Niners, that tie woke the Niners up because they were kind of playing a little bit slack. They were playing kind of sleepwalking through games. But after the tie, thrashed the Bears. They went to New Orleans, thumped the Saints, and I think they're on a roll. I think this is going to be a team that's going to play well and has been playing well. The whole quarterback controversy, Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick, I say Colin Kaepernick should be the starter and will be the starter for the rest of the season. You heard it here first. I think he's going to be the starter for the rest of the season. Alex Smith, I think he was living on borrowed time. And I think Jim Harbaugh knows that. The Rams, they're a mess. So what? They're 4-6-1. They went in. They broke a losing streak by beating the same team they beat a few weeks ago in the Cardinals, but they can't beat anybody else. Niners on the road. And the next game is the Seahawks and the Bears in Chicago. And the Bears are a puzzling team. You're never very sure which team's going to come out of that tunnel. Jay Cutler, is he really the answer for the Bears? Apparently he's a better answer than Jason Campbell because he pretty much looked effortless in thrashing the Vikings last week, and the team is playing better under his guidance. Now they face the Seahawks, a team that I should have known better going to Miami, and as I've said before, West teams going east are usually dead meat. They played this game a lot tougher, but they still lost. This game, it's so tough to pick against the Bears at home. I don't think I'm going to do it. I think Chicago wins this game pretty handily. Now, the late games, some of them were pretty good. The first one, the Buccaneers at Broncos. Now, this is the interconference game. You don't see that often. Buccaneers, 6-5, lost a tight game to the Falcons, but are still very much in the NFC playoff hunt. Broncos have been sailing. 8-3. Peyton Manning is looking like he could win MVP. I think he can win the MVP this year. And he has turned the Broncos team from a kind of a fringe playoff team to a bona fide Super Bowl contender. Now, Buccaneers, young team, young quarterback Josh Freeman. I like them, but I can't see them going into Denver and pulling off an upset. This would be an upset, would it happen? But I don't see it happening here. Denver's the pick. Bengals and the Chargers play out in San Diego. The Bengals have won 3 straight. And from when they looked like they were about a half second from falling apart, they thumped the Giants, smashed the Chiefs, and kicked around the Raiders. Now they have the Chargers team that I think is just falling apart. They are 4-7. Phillip Rivers look like he's losing confidence with every throw. They have a plethora of injuries. Norv Turner looks more and more lost every week. I'm pretty sure he's not going to survive the season. The Bengals are just tough to call on the road. You think they're going to win a game, they fall apart. You figure this may be a tough game for them to win. They end up winning it. This game, I'm never very confident about them going out to San Diego. They've always had trouble out there. Even back in the days of, Kenny Anderson, Boomer Esiason, and whatnot. Every time they went out to San Diego, they had a struggle. I think they'll struggle, but I do think they'll win. I think they'll pull out a tight game here. Browns and the Raiders are playing up in Oakland. This is another dog game. Even though the Browns did play very, very honorably, forcing 8 turnovers against the Steelers and pulling off the upset win, the Raiders are their usual horrible self. Carson Palmer is looking like Carson Palmer. He's throwing interceptions. He's making bad plays. The Raiders are a 3-8 mess. A pair of 3-8 teams. I called this one the upset of the week only because the Browns on the road are usually dead meat. But something tells me that they're going to pull this one. This one's the upset of the week. Now, one of the best of the late games is the Steelers and the Ravens. Of course, they had a real head knocker back in Pittsburgh week 4 last. But with Ben Roethlisberger still a big question mark in this game, Byron Leftwich being hurt, and Charlie Batch looking like 38-year-old Charlie Batch, the Steelers are in trouble. The Steelers are in a lot of trouble. That defense, good as it is, cannot cover up the offensive deficiencies. And the Ravens are one of the best teams in the AFC, if not in the NFL altogether. I think that the Steelers are about a half second away from falling apart. And I know a lot of people who will be watching this, or Steelers fans, are going to brick bat at me and tell me I'm a hater and everything. I don't think the Steelers are that good, which hurts me because I like Mike Tomlin. I've always liked Mike Tomlin. I think he's a good coach. But I think the Steelers are just about falling apart. We're going to take the Ravens on this game. Final Sunday game, Sunday night game, Eagles and Cowboys. I'm really unsure why they haven't flexed this game out. Oh, that's right. It's the Cowboys. America's team. I'm sorry. I'm going to stifle my laughter and try to be professional. The Cowboys and Eagles are probably two of the most disappointing teams in NFL this year. The Eagles are a mess. Their offensive line is Swiss cheese. Michael Vick is sitting on the sideline with twitches. Nick Foles is running for his life as the quarterback. They have no offensive. Deshaun Jackson's out. They're a mess. Cowboys, they let the Redskins run out to a big lead and then claw their way back on Thanksgiving, only to fall 7 points short. This is a tough game to call, but Cowboys at home, I think, are much better than the Eagles, who have developed a 1,000-yard stare, and they're just done. I mean, point blank. I think the Eagles are already thinking about the golf course in January and where they're going to go, for vacation. That team is done. I'm picking the Cowboys. I'm probably going to break my lock streak on this, but this one is going to be the lock of the week. Monday night game is also an NFC East battle. The Giants, fresh off of a whooping of the Packers, go to our nation's capital, take on the Redskins and their phenom quarterback, Robert Griffin III. The Redskins are on the upswing, even though they are 5-6. They have been playing really good, and RG3 is leading a very potent offense. But the Giants are the Giants. They sleepwalk through a couple of games. They play inconsistent. Eli Manning will make your head hurt watching him play sometimes. Giants defense sometimes will give up big plays. They'll give up bad games. But on the road, the Giants are probably one of the toughest teams in the NFL. I think the Giants win this game and win it pretty handily. So there you have it. Okay, just to recap, I have the picks as Jets, Panthers, Texans, Colts, Bills, Packers, I wouldn't mind being wrong there, Patriots, Niners, Bears, Broncos, Bengals, Cleveland's my upset, Ravens, Cowboys, which is lock, in that one, and Giants. Those are 16 games for the week. I hope all of you picked some good ones. And if you have any questions or comments or want to get on the mailing list for the printed version of the picks, which has fast facts as well as the details on all the games I detail here, just drop me a line, kjgreen920 at gmail.com. I'll see you next week.